students, welcome to my video. So in this video, we will be telling about what is a socket and why should you care about this socket. So socket is a IPC technique where the two processes running on a system can communicate with each other using a socket file descriptor. So socket is essentially an endpoint of communication between the two programs running on a network. Think of a communication portal where two programs each create one socket and they can establish a communication between themselves, regardless of that programs are running on a same system or they are running on a different system. So we will be using socket while communicating through phones. For example, we have Android phone in our hand and we are calling uh, to another person on a different network on a different place. So for that, we can use Socket as well. So the real-time applications of Socket is the web browser use sockets to fetch the web pages. Okay, so that web pages reside in different network and different place. So we have chat application that also exchange messages through a socket. We have an email client that's also you know have socket on the base level. We have online games, we have IoT devices, all are using sockets. So for every network connectivity, we are using sockets. So for example, we have this network over here. We have two PCs, PC1 and PC2 here. And these are on different networks. So this is the boundary line of this network. And our first PC have the IP as 192.168.1.2 and our second PC have IP 192.168.1.3. Okay, so this PC1 have the interface, it's 0, through which your network packets will go to your network to communicate with the other side. Okay, so every PC in the network have IP and port. So the application running on this system can take this IP and that application is bind to certain ports, for example 8080. So from these IP and ports, this is taken by the socket and it will send a message to another PC on the same network. This is 1.3 and same interface is there in that PC as well, having a different IP and same port number as it is the listening side of the socket. Okay, so these two PC can connect and have some communication first, and then it will send or receive the data. Okay, so this is very simple communication between the two PCs through a socket IPC. So next point over this is what are the type of sockets. So for example, types of socket. Okay, so the first type is the TCP socket. Okay, so this will take the TCP sock stream to communicate through the same network or a different network using a reliable TCP connection. Okay, so they are using the TCP protocol. So these sockets usually use the TCP protocol. The second type of socket is UDP. So this socket will be using the UDP protocol to communicate through the network. And the third we have the raw socket. Okay, so what is this raw socket? So in the raw socket, a direct access to the low level network protocol and it will bypass the transport layer. Okay, so we have, for example, ping using the raw socket to check the server connectivity or if the server is live or not, or some AP is live or not. So we can use this ping, protocol in that socket So the fourth type of socket is our Unix domain socket. So this is used for the IPC on same system or same machine. So all above types we are using for the communication through the network. So we have this TCP UDP headers included, but we have a Unix domain socket as well that helps in IPC on the same network, and it's pretty fast. It skips the UDP and TCP stack that is added by the kernel. So it's pretty fast from that. And the fifth type of socket we have is a SOC sequential packets. So this is also a type of socket, but is rarely used in this. You know, we preserve the message boundary. One packet that is sent should be received, and that should be received correctly. Okay, so it's a sequential type of packets, not random, and you're sending the random packets there, and it will accumulate on the receiver side and give you a proper stream. So it's not like that. Once sent packet will be received, then the next packet will be sent. So these are the five types of sockets that we are using. We have server side and the client side. For example, I have this server side, and I have this as client side. So there are list of APIs that is exchanging between a client and the server on a different network. So we have one server in the network and all our client that is communicating to that server. Okay. So let's put it as a server, and here we have client. So there may be multiple clients that will be connecting to the server over a socket. Okay, so now we have a list of APIs that are being used in sockets on the server side. So first one is a socket API. Okay, that will create a socket file descriptor for communication over the network. Second is the bind. So we are binding this socket to a particular IP and port. Okay. Third one is a listen call. So this API is used to queue up the messages that is being used or that is being you know entered into the server. So they queue it before processing. And the fourth one is accept call. So this call will accept the client connection and put it into the queue. And then we have send or receive for the messages exchange throughout the network, and then we have close call. So these are one, two, three, four, five, six APIs are being used on the server side to create a server socket server, you can say. Okay. So what about client side? So similarly, as we have socket API in the server, we have the socket system call that is running on the client side as well. Then we have connect call that connect to the server. Okay. So that have IP and port already defined. Okay. And then we have send or receive call for the data exchange. And then we have a close call. So you ever entered into the interview question where you'll get what are the APIs we have in the server and what are the clients. So these are all the APIs that is being used. Okay. So primarily, uh, we have this socket system call which define the type of the socket we will be using in this communication. Okay. So how a socket system call is there. So we have a socket. Okay. So in this we have three parameters. Okay. So the three parameter first one is a domain. Okay. So here we have int domain. Okay. Next we have the type of the socket, and third we have protocol. Okay. So these three options we need to fill to tell the system that we will be using this socket. So the first is domain. So that domain will be defined on the factors whether you are going to have IPv4 or IPv6 uh, over the network. So we have AF INET for IPv4, AF underscore INET macro for IPv6, and for type we have SOC underscore stream. Okay, for the TCP connection, and we have SOC underscore DGRAM for UDP connections. And for protocol, for now, we will be taking zero. Okay, we'll tell you later what is the output. And once we create the socket, we get a file descriptor, positive file descriptor, positive FD here. If it is -1, then there is a error. We won't get the file descriptor. So this is the error check. Okay. So this is all about this video. See you in the next video. Thanks.